Good morning, Mrs. Forney's group. So I'm just going to quickly show you the answers from Friday's session. So as you can see, here's sheet 1, if you'd like to pause it and check that your answers are correct. And then here is the second sheet if you'd like to check that. Pause now if you need to, and then we will move on to today's learning. Okay, so for today's learning, we are going to be looking at ordering and patterns. Okay, so let's learn order and patterns. Question 1. We are going to put 489, 236, and 701 in order, beginning with the smallest. So we've got the three numbers here, 489, 236, and 701. And as you can see, we've got a column to help us compare. We've got our ones column, our tens column, and our hundreds column, and each number has been placed into the columns to help us. So when we are comparing, we always look at the biggest column. So for us today, that's the hundreds, because we're looking at a 3-digit number. So first we compare the hundreds. We look here, we've got 4 hundreds here, 2 hundreds here, and 7 hundreds here. As you can see, 7 hundreds is the greatest number, which means 701 is greater than 489 and 236. Also, 489 is greater than 236. So when we're ordering, 701 is the greatest number, 236 is the smallest number, and if we were then to put it in order, we could go from the smallest, so that's 236, then 489, and then 701. It's really important that you say the numbers out loud, as I feel that will really help you today with your learning. We're now going to look at question 2. So we are going to put 459, 574 and 558 in order. This time we're going to begin with the greatest number. So we've got our columns laid out again, our ones, our tens and our hundreds. We've got our numbers down the side, so now we can start to compare. In a moment, I'm going to pause so that you can have a go at trying this. Remember to look at your hundreds column to help you work out your greatest number. If you want to use some Deans today to do this, remember you can use the website from last week. The link can be found on your home learning page so that you can do that for your learning today. Okay, so have a pause now. I would like you to work out what number is the greatest, what number is the smallest, and then have a go at ordering from the greatest to the smallest. Pause now and have a go. Okay, when I'm comparing my numbers now, I look at my hundreds column. Now I know that 5 hundreds is bigger than 4 hundreds. So I know now that these numbers are bigger than 459. Now, when I look at the hundreds, I've got a 5 hundreds here and a 5 hundreds here. So what I need to make sure I do then is look at my tens column to work out which number is biggest, because these numbers are the same value. So now I look next door to my tens column. I've now got 7 tens or 5 tens. Now I know 7 tens is bigger than 5 tens, which means 574 is my greatest number. I also know that 459 is my smallest number, because as you can see here, I've got 4 hundreds, which is smaller than 5 hundreds. Now if I put them in order, I know that 574 is my greatest number. I know then that 558 comes next, and then 459 at the bottom. Hopefully you got that correct. Okay, we're now going to have a look at ordering these numbers. Now it's really careful that you read carefully because it says begin with the smallest. So let's start here with A. So I've got 707, 904, 762 and 555. I'd like you to pause the camera and have a go at A, please. Okay, we're now going to go through the answers. Now, hopefully you have drawn a place value grid to help you today. So I'm just going to do that underneath. So I'm going to draw my hundreds, then I'm going to draw my tens, and then I'm going to draw my ones, okay? And I'm going to draw my grid to help me. Now when comparing, we always know that we start on the hundreds column. So the first number I need to put in here is 707. So I've got 7 hundreds, no tens, and 7 ones. Now I'm going to do 904. 9 hundreds, 0 tens, and 4 ones. Now I'm going to do 762, 7 hundreds, 6 tens, and 2 ones, and then 5 hundreds, 5 tens, and 5 ones. Now it's really easy for me to compare, and I'm going to continue to compare using the smallest number first. So I'm going to look at my hundreds column, and I can see that 5 hundreds is my smallest number there, which means 555 is my smallest number. I'm then going to look for my second smallest. Okay, I've got 7 hundreds. I've got 2 numbers with 7 hundreds. So as you remember from the last question, I then need to look for the next biggest in my tens column. So I can see here I've got 7 hundreds and 6 tens, whereas here I've got 700 and no tens. So I know now that 762 is bigger than 707. So 707 is my next smallest number. That must mean 762 would be next, finishing with 904 last. Okay, I'm now going to have a look here. I'm going to go again. I'm going to draw another grid here underneath. I'm going to get another bit of paper to do that. I'm going to have my hundreds, my tens, and my ones. And I'm going to place all the numbers into this grid. Okay, so I've got 368, 555, 357, and 699. 553. So the first thing I'm going to do is check what order I'm doing it in. So we know we're going to go from the smallest number here. So I need to look down my hundreds column for my smallest numbers. And I can see that I've got 2 that are at 300. That's my smallest number. So now I'm going to look to my tens column for my next smallest number. And here I've got 5 tens, which is smaller than 6 tens. So I know that 357 is my smallest number. Okay. I'm then going to go to my next 300, which is 368. I'm now going to jump up. Okay, so I've got 2 now at 500. So we know to look then at the tens column. I can see here that I've got 5 tens and I've got 5 tens. So what we need to do now is go to our ones column to see the next smallest number. So here I've got 5 ones, whereas in this number I've got 3 ones. 3 ones is smaller than 5 ones, so my next number is 553. I now know that my number after that is 555, which leaves us with our biggest number, 699, to go last. Hopefully you've had a go at that and can now use this to check if you got it right or not. It's really important that you draw out the grids because that will help you today when you're doing that. Okay, so now you'll go to have a go. Remember, you can use your Deans if you need to. You can see which numbers are bigger, or you can draw yourself a place value chart to help you with today's learning. So this is your practice here. You've also got a little challenge practice underneath where you're going to use a set of 0 to 9 cards. You could always make your own if you don't have that at home, and use the cards to make 3-digit numbers and then write it down. You're going to repeat that until you have 5 different 3-digit numbers, and then you're going to order them from smallest to largest. Okay, now if you turn over the page, you've got your second activity for today, which is ordering 3-digit numbers. You've got your numbers here, and you need to order them from smallest to largest. Remember to draw a place value grid if you need to. Good luck with your maths today, and I'll be back tomorrow with your answers.